Okay, we're going to be taking a look at a VOD review here from Zero. Let's get the code pulled up here really fast here and the form pulled up as well. So this is going to be a 30-minute replay review here, and we'll be taking a look here. So this is Reinhardt, and the form is filled out with not just Reinhardt, but Reinhardt with multiple exclamation points. So definitely a real Reinhardt player for sure. I believe this is a loss on Busan. We'll be taking a look, and I believe this is Masters. Let's take a quick look at the form. I need to figure out what my mistakes are I am making or what things I should be doing better because I have stagnated at this rank and my skill level and can't really identify or fix whatever is going wrong. I also hope to just get a better understanding of what I should be doing and when I should be doing it. This is Masters 3, generally 1 to 3 hours per day, almost every single day. Makes sense. Good stuff on playtime. I think it's just a good reminder in terms of like hard stuck. I'm definitely going to talk about a lot of things that you could be doing better. I'm sure of it. However, it's good to remember that being hard stuck is always a spectrum. So the idea here is that, you know, Masters 3 is like talking about being hard stuck in Masters 3 is like, oh, I'm hard stuck. You know, I'm only a billionaire. I'm not a trillionaire, right? Like you are in already the upper echelons of the game. And so for you to climb to the highest echelons, which is Grandmasters, you're talking about an unbelievable, at the time of February 2025, an unbelievable minority, an unbelievable amount of work. So playing a couple hours a day, about every day, with a one trick on Reinhardt, who is, I think, a strong character, but maybe not a meta character at the highest ranks right now, is pretty impressive. So there's going to be a lot of things that you're doing well. It shouldn't be necessarily, oh, I'm hard stuck. I wouldn't frame it like that. It's like, what do I need to do to squeeze more value out of what I'm doing? And we'll go from there. So short-term goal is to try and solidify myself in high masters since I've been hard stuck and low mid masters for over a year now. And I can't consistently stay in the high masters. I'll try to push in GM for the first time. Yeah, makes sense. I guess the question always is, are you putting in a lot of hours, a lot of time? Like most Grandmaster players I know play closer to 2 to 4 hours per day. So that might be something to consider as well. And most GM players I know are a little bit more reticent to, I guess, one trick on Reinhardt. They'll be more following the meta or following heroes that are good and so on. Just keeping that in mind. It doesn't mean that you can't one trick Reinhardt. It's just going to be a little bit harder depending on the situation. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I don't think there are a lot of situations where I just kind of don't know what I'm supposed to do, like where I should position myself or whether I should play patient or go aggressive. I do think there are a lot of situations, So I feel like I'm missing out on opportunities as a result of which means we lose fights. I think I have solid awareness for the most part, but then I don't really know what to do with what I know and end up making bad plays. I'm not sure. Honestly, generally attacking is harder for me. On defense, it's easier to take it slow and be more reactive and punish errors the enemy team makes rather than my own actively pushing and making mistakes on my own. Makes sense. I played Overwatch 1 off and on since coming out as a gold Junkrat one trick. Nice. Only because of a tank main and Ryan player when Overwatch 2 came out. I've been playing consistently since then, only missing 1 or 2 seasons. Okay, sounds good. Finally, about 6 hours of sleep. Maybe that's worth highlighting here is that whenever we're going for the highest rank, it's really, really important that you always evaluate every single aspect of your gameplay and find out if there's any major errors or 8 major weak spots, right? One tricking Reinhardt is not necessarily a weak spot, but it is something to highlight. Playing only for sometimes not as much every single day, maybe a weak spot, but maybe the sleep is the weakest spot of all because 6 hours of sleep when you're aiming for the highest level is definitely going to be a difficulty. I mean, for context, right? People that I coach generally don't reach higher ranks unless they're getting 8+ hours of sleep per night because it's just harder to learn, harder to execute. Now, there is some sort of this doesn't tell the full story because people that generally don't get as much sleep generally have a lot busier schedules, right? So it just kind of means they don't play Overwatch as much either. But it's just something worth pointing out here. I definitely think that objectively getting more sleep will help you respond faster and learn faster and execute faster with Reinhardt. That being said, let's take a look here. As I said, Masters Reinhardt, Busan. Can be a bit of a tricky map with Rein, just with the breadth of the map. All of Reinhardt is about controlling space with your hammer, with your shield, forcing and basically choking enemies out. This one is not a bad map for Rein for that aspect because it is really easy for in the case here to control and harass space pretty simply from this position. Okay. Nice. Short pins are always nice where you end from short space to another short space to cover. Good fire strikes. Obviously situational here. We're not going to overanalyze this. If it's good, it's good. You started on a close range angle. You choked them out. You were able to harass and control space. You lived in anti-nade, and then you went from there. Don't love the blind fire strikes, especially if you have really no information about where enemies are. I like this as well. They move away from you, you rotate and you stuff them again. Like we said, attack versus defense, it's fine. Situational aggression here, you knew the risks, but somebody was low, so you take that opportunity and you go for it. Sure. I mean, there's always a risk here. I honestly, like, I look at this and I'm like, ugh, yeah. I mean, I guess as long as you come back to the choke quickly, your team just needs to shoot the Winston in the face and contest them on their own. Bit awkward there with the boop. But this is fine. I wouldn't be burning shield in here. Sure. And this is just a low damage team composition that's not using your mobility on you. So this is going to be really easy. We're going to keep rolling. I'll point out little details like maybe the fire strike in situations where you don't really have full scouting information. Like even this here, like this extension through this choke. So this is what I loved. This is like the classic tank experience, right? Where you play well, you play well, you play well. You get a little bit excited and you do something really stupid. I've been coaching tank players all the way to Overwatch League for years. And this always happens. Like you have shatter and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go. You go, no, don't cross this line here. You're not fighting here. So for this, for your hubris, you're going to play with your entire health pool. And so now when you get a nice shatter, well, now what do I do with that, right? Like you're not even allowed to take much action off of that. And so I just think it's worth highlighting that even though it doesn't result in you getting punished immediately, it just felt way nastier and way uglier than it had any right to be. You just needed to play honest Overwatch, control the chokes, move around, and when you do go in aggressive, break the choke. When you did that earlier, you did it because you saw an opportunity for a big play, right? Here, there was no opportunity. You're on the outside their spawn. Play the corner, find your opportunity elsewhere. There's no reward for that risk outside of just bleeding HP or an ego shatter on a solo Ashe, right? It's fine. Not a problem. That fire strike, that's 2 missed fire strikes on a Winston, I will say. And see, even this. Okay, so this is another one to look at, okay? So we talk about, like, windows of opportunity here. If I see this right here, this is not a window of opportunity for you. You don't have your fire strike, you don't have shatter, you don't have full HP, and you don't have your pin. Your job here is to control these people in the choke, get your heal passive to kind of kick back in, and allow your team to deal with this for as long as you possibly can. The thing with Reinhardt, as it is with really any character, is it's all about finding windows and opportunities to swing. Whether you have the resources or whether it's the HP, the position, they made a mistake, whatever, right? Other than that, you kind of just hold them, right? With the threat of hammer, of them walking into you, you just hold shield here. You just sit here and hold shield. Come on, look at me. You guys don't do anything. Just look, hold, right? Meanwhile, your team is dealing with the threats here. And this guy's taking damage. You're not, right? And for them to walk into you and try to punish you, they're going to walk into a position where it's easier for you to get punished on them, right? When you walked through this choke earlier on the Lucio, it's because the Lucio messed up. He had taken damage and you knew that you could kill him. Again, we're in a situation kind of like the Shatter where I don't see what you're seeing here. Yes, maybe you can get 1 swing, maybe 2 swings, but you're going to probably pay with this with either your life or just as bad with you having to give up the choke. You see, the reason that this has felt so easy for so long is this Ashe Juno have been stuck in the choke for 6 years. Now, part of that skill issue on their part. They've been really dumb with the rotations. It's been really poor play from them. However, you gave them that opportunity and you gave it for free. You get it for free, right? Now, you are demanding support, which you're not going to really get. You are giving them space, which they're definitely going to get. And this fight's lost. Should be anyway. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely, yeah. It's a mess, right? So, all of Ryan it's not passive play necessarily. It's situational aggression. It's about finding those windows and those opportunities, whether it's on pin or fire strikes or HP or whatever, to control space, to apply pressure. And then other than that, hold the corner. Just hold the corner. Like even here, I don't know what you see. You are down 2 here, I believe. Is it down 2 or down 1? Yeah, you're down 2. What do you see? Certainly here you'll hold shield back off, right? Surely. Okay, yes, but that was a little bit, as the kids say, sussy baka. Another situation here where what's the best thing you could do here? Look at your HP. Tell me what you should do here. I mean, you're getting shot at, right? By the Ashe and Juno and Lucio. Hold shield. Let the Winston cleave you. Hold shield. Walk on the Ashe, then swing, right? Honestly, here, I would rather see pin than you swinging, if anything, here. Because at least it'll close the distance faster. But you're taking a lot of damage in situations where the HP trade is not going your way. It's the same thing that a lot of hazard players have to decide, whether is it worth to get that extra shot off on a combo, maybe get a kill, or is it better just to hold your block after you've gone for the initial combo and just try to mitigate the amount of damage that you take. Because the reason why that's important is if you're able to preserve your HP now, right? If you're able to get to 400 HP, 500 HP now instead of wherever you're at here, Dragon becomes me, you can pin on her now. You can go for her instead of shielding here. You could go for the Juno, you could go for the Winston, right? But you can't because you don't have the HP for it. Remember, it's not so much that you have to play more passive, it's that you have to choose your aggression. Because when you chose your aggression there to get one extra swing on the Winston, as opposed to shielding, right? And then take all the damage there. You chose to not be as aggressive now, or a few seconds ago. When do you want to be aggression? When do you not want the aggression? That's the key thing here. I would be definitely putting my attention on backline here, even though the failed pin here. So you're going to fail the pin. Okay, he's going to boop you off. I mean, I would have kept pinning all the way to here, frankly, just because to hold the space. You have a little bit of HP, you have the shatter, but I definitely don't go backwards here. You definitely hold shield and walk and control the backline here. You definitely don't go back to this Winston, because now you've allowed this Winston to get full pocket. You've put yourself out of position, and now you've given space to that backline. Now, it may not matter, as everyone just seems to walk into your hammer. But it's all about, do I want to control space, or do I want the immediate dopamine of swinging on something? Yes. Nice fire strike. Wow. I feel like that shouldn't have hit. You can honestly shatter anything here if you need to, but I think you're probably okay. Okay. They're gonna go across. Just spin across, yeah. Sure. Opportunity. Right? Opportunity. You saw the opportunity. You had enough resources to go for it. It's fine with me. You miss it, but it's all right. Sure, I guess if you can guarantee the pin. Well, you need to hit the pin damage there. That guy would have died if you'd hit the pin damage. That was unfortunate. Okay. Sure. Swing, swing, swing. You need to shield a little bit here. Shield, 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 shield. Ooh, okay. I mean, I see the vision there, but always obviously really risky with the amount of damage taken from behind. Okay, so we'll stop there for this round, and we'll move on to the next round. Well, hang on. Let's see it pop off here. Yeah, so basically, here's what I'm saying. Is like, okay, wow, this is absurd. Surely. No. Come on now. This is crazy. Okay, so basically what I'm seeing is your opportunistic aggression versus just controlling space, holding your shield is pretty hit or miss. A lot of situations, you will go in aggressively and decide to swing when there's nothing about the situation that says, oh, you could get a kill here, or I could win this HP trade. It's like, wow, you're low, or there's a lot of people shooting you right now. This is not the time to be swinging. And what this means is not only do you end up taking a lot of damage at inappropriate times, you take a lot of damage at inappropriate times, which means you have to give up space, right? You let that Ashe Juno out of the choke, you let them control high ground, you fall back on point. But then you also are demanding support at bad times, right? You're giving space, you're demanding support. And then finally, as we kind of mentioned there, is it's like you also then, because you lose so much HP at those inopportune times, you're unable to go as aggressively as you'd like when you should be, right? When there is a window, you're unable to, because you're still suffering from the bad investment 6 seconds ago, right? So I think in addition to that, I want you to be very cautious about giving up chokes to fall back and kill an quote-unquote overextended target, tank, whatever the case may be. You do end up giving a lot of space to Junos and Genjis and Ashes and so on. So we'll be keeping a closer eye on that, but let's keep going here. A couple other micro things about just staying fully locked in on your fire strikes, and obviously, rolling out eventually. That's also a very helpful tip. Okay. So swing. Swing. He's low, so I get it. Hold shield. Hold shield. Walk and shield. Walk and shield. Walk and shield. Walk and shield. Now, you can go now. There it is. See? There you go. Beautiful. There's actually, by the way, like more of a micro thing here, but there's even situations when you don't even swing on a Winston bubble. Just because he is able to do damage and block damage at the same time, whereas you are not able to. So, you know, even in that initial trade, there are compositions where a Winston jumps in you and you just hold shield and you just get your team to break the shield because you will take so much damage if you drop shield and swing on Winston. So it's not always inappropriate, but it's just something to consider. Okay. Definitely a tough map, tough comp to play into. You need to try and put pressure on chokes as much as you possibly can. I don't love this here because you're kind of putting yourself... I wouldn't play a lot of guesswork. I'd be very attentive and listen instead. Killing me. Hold shield. This is the moment right here. Hold shield. Look what's on your screen right now. Look at your HP. Hold shield. Hold shield. You will not win this HP trade. He is inside bubble. He can do damage and be healed at the same time. You cannot do... I know you're going to swing. I know you are. I just know you are. Because you're like, oh, he's kind of half. No, no, no. If he's one, sure. If he's not bubbled, sure. No. That wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible. That's crazy. That's a situation where maybe pinning back is okay, because if there is nothing else to do, then sure. But even then, you notice that at that pin, you do allow the Winston to walk forward without taking damage at the same time. There's always an opportunity cost for giving up space, even if you do get a kill out of it. It's not always bad. That one seemed relatively appropriate because he didn't have bubble, and there wasn't really anything else he could swing on. But yeah, okay. Good. 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 Yeah, I mean, he's low here, so go swinging. Even if you lose a lot of HP here. Like, see, that's one of those situations where you're like, oh, I lost a lot of HP. Yeah, but the opportunity was there. I saw the vision. So is it risky? Yeah. Could you have died there? Yeah. But it felt like it was worth it. It felt like there was an actual reason to do what you did. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want a good reason for doing what you did. Nice. Like right here. You're taking a lot of damage. You're getting healed but he's won. You hit the freaking pin. Good. That's the difference here. I wouldn't hold this choke here, and these fire strikes are starting to get a little lazy. Again, this is kind of feels like, again, the classic tank thing where things start to kind of go your way for a couple fights in a row, and you get a little bit cocky with it, and you make a really bad decision. And Koth, that will kill you, because Koth doesn't allow you the time to make up for mistakes. So like right now you have Shatter. Your team is here. You need to go back to this corner, or back to this corner, or honestly, you could even walk back to here and sit here. This kind of allows you to control more space than you would otherwise. And then you can kind of make your decision from there. But you're losing your shield HP. You're kind of getting lazy with the fire strikes. That one wasn't too bad. I just hate this so much from your team. If you're doing a pop soul, yeah, sure. I think you're probably communicating this with your team. I hope you didn't call for this because I don't like this. Let them walk to you, and this becomes the last fight. This is a reach. You feel it. It feels uncomfortable. It feels difficult. To be honest with you, the fact that she popped ultimate, though, I think you need to keep going, though. I think you need to keep going. Even with sights, I think you just need to keep going. I think you need to keep going. That way you could actually not have to pop your pin here. Okay? Sure. Cassidy, that's good. That means another DPS that you can actually play with besides Widowmaker. Fire Strike is pretty good there. Don't get too cocky here. Maybe you're... Okay, see, now it feels like you're playing around your Genji, so I'm going to cut you some slack because your Genji's now the one playing cocky, so then I guess you have to play cocky. Maybe, but, you know, like, let him touch, you know? This is always that opportunity cost. I'm noticing that you only do this with the tank. Now, this is a very small sample size because this also happens to be a tank that, at least in this situation, you can actually... do things to Winston, right, when he's landing on flat ground. But remember, opportunity costs. And I'm wondering if you end up dying to this angle. And let's find out. Let's find out what you enabled here. You get what I'm saying? And the thing is you're not stopping the Winston from doing what he's doing anyway. The guy's got primal, right? So what you can do here is you can contest Genji. You could keep the Cassidy in the choke. You could force the support resources to come backwards and then just solo shatter whatever you want, right? You're giving space to chase targets, which then means that you're also going for, I guess, again, we talked about like Winston in theory you've been able to swing on before, but there's no guarantee of that. Do you feel like you're chasing? Like, even though you're getting swings in, it ends up not working. Now, you could argue, be like, oh, well, they had a lot of ultimates, but you guys had ultimates too here. This is just not good. Not good. This is now the third time that this has happened. You got to keep an eye on that. Okay. Not the end of the world, though. In theory, this is where you can still pull this back. Hold shield out the choke, please. Hold shield out the choke. Find your corner. Hold shield. Hold shield. No. I know. Okay, so this situation, maybe it's understandable because your Moira just died. So then you're like, okay, we're going to lose this fight anyway, so maybe I can get a trade here. He's just going to jump over you. But if the Moira doesn't die here, you need to control space. You need to pincer and push this Cassidy in, shove him into the locker here. Look at the space that you created walking out of this choke. So I want you to start by looking at how the DPS were positioned initially, okay, and the supports and tank, and then watch how they rotate. Genji's got his attention on you. Cassidy backs off. Lucio rotates around. Those people are now doing less damage, and then look what your Sojourn is able to do because of the pressure that you put on the Cassidy. Right? Right? So this is a moment where, like, yeah, your Moira's death, you can't do anything about that. But I really hope that this is not a pattern that we continue to see here. You can't chase tanks at the expense of controlling space with what's in front of you. If you want to put pressure on this Winston because he's in front of you, that's fine. But if you commit to an angle all the way on right, you don't go all the way back to point to chase the Winston if there are targets right here. The only time when this is appropriate is if you control space here and there's nobody here. They're like over here or they're flanking around behind. Then you can control space. But this Cassidy responded. I don't know about taking this fight here, May. If you die here, this is gonna suck. That's just really poor from you. Really, really poor. You need to reset here. Fully reset. That's just like that's a full team fight and ult charge reset. That feels really sloppy there. Sure, shoot the tank, get him out. Maybe even grab Mega here. I'm not really sure. Okay, sure. Pin here. I don't think you have the HP for the pin though. Frankly, you just need to be decisive here. Okay, so here let's talk about this. I want you to pause here and think through your actions. What could you do here? You can pin to point, hold shield. You can hold shield. Or you can walk here and shatter something and then hold shield, right? You don't have the HP for it. You lost a lot of HP. So make a decision about what you want to do with the resources that you have and commit to it, right? You go here. It's risky, but okay, sure. Don't second guess yourself. Don't second guess yourself. You know, it's actually funny because this is the exact same mistake that you've made and that I've been beating you over the head with a hammer with. Quite literally, right? I guess not literally, but, you know, Reinhardt funny. As in going from here to here. Previous round doing the same thing, giving up the Ashe space, going from here to here, giving it up space. Right now, this is pressure. This is pressure. You're forcing a response here. And if they do win the fight, okay, but they will have made no point progress. And honestly, because it's 99%, you are going to force a response. I mean, right now, you also don't really have the HP to do anything anyway, so why not, right? You've committed. Was this optimal? I don't know, but you've committed to it, so do it. Don't second guess yourself. The problem here is that you go here and you go, oh, I got to do something. So I'm going to throw a Fire Strike into the air. I'm going to walk into the Cassidy, but I don't really have the HP to deal with this. And so now I'm going to force my Moira to chase me around like a bad child in a theme park, right? And now I'm not really doing anything. Right? You see the mess that you've made? Like the mess. Like look at this from, I think given context, you'll understand this a lot better. Okay, so you go to point, where are you? Okay, so you go to point here, fine. Moira's not really worried about you. She's dealing with, well, maybe she could have gone to point with you here, but you're literally running ring around the rosy with your supports, right? And then the Moira is out of position because she had to fade and chase you. So then she's in 1 HP running out, and then she dies to the Lucio. Right? So you're responsible for teammates' deaths here. And also opportunity cost. In other words, your Sojourn dies because she doesn't get pocket. Why doesn't she get pocket? Because they had to pocket you. Why do they have to pocket you? Because you decided to do... Like, you need to... Reinhardt can change plans with Pen. But once you've invested your time and your resources, especially if it's with Pen or whatever, you need to get value with where you're at. You're the equivalent of like a tracer using all of her blinks to chase targets around the map and never really accomplishing anything. And because you're using all your resources to run around the map, you never really actually have you never win duels. Sure. Is your support with you? Okay, so you're way too fast. Well, I mean, I guess your team is technically fighting here. So to be honest with you here, just hold shield. Hold shield. Hold shield. Hold shield. Pin out, okay. I don't think you got the OT proc there. That sucks. Okay, that's okay. This one was less your fault. You did hold shield. Your team was just super indecisive. And then the funny thing is, you want a funny laugh? You kind of did the right thing. You decisively applied pressure and whatever. But I think your Moira did what you did. I think your Lucio did too, where she's like, all right, I've committed here. Oh wait, my Ryan's over there. I should go help my Ryan. No. You're fine. Just walk forward here. Imagine if she had just walked forward here. Imagine, right? I think your Lucio did the same thing too. So he's here. He's in a good position to kind of harass and control space from here. And then I think he goes like, oh, gotta help my Ryan. Dies. Do you see what I'm talking about, right? Like, you could have lived here, right? And then just pinned out, no problem, right? Like, yeah, it's not optimal, but your supports were positioned to enable their own DPS and apply pressure from here, and you responded to that correctly. Do you see why I'm so tilted at this kind of stuff? Not actually tilted, but do you see why I'm hammering at this over and over again, right? There is flexibility with what you can do with Reinhardt. You can apply pressure tank, apply pressure backline, force point. But when you start second guessing and doing halfway things get really bad. And so you did the right thing here. You applied pressure on point, knew you weren't going to get support, and then pinned out, right? Great. But your supports did what you've been doing the entire, basically, last round and a half, where they committed to something and then second-guessed themselves and did something really bad and wasted resources and wasted time and put themselves in bad positions. Commit. You can't be in 7 places at once. Where you are is where you apply value. Let's see that here. Okay, so I'm left. Not the best fire strike. That one's good. Swing, sure. Now, hold shield or hold corner. You don't have the resources to keep going. Oh, that 200 damage is very rough. And even here, right? Like, do you see what I'm talking about? Look at the opportunity cost here. So you go here, win some pops bubble. Okay. You will no longer win this HP trade. So don't walk out here. When you walk out there, you lose 250 damage or 250 HP, maybe more. Okay. So then you see an opportunity. Oh, Genji. I can kill this guy. But because you're 350 HP, as opposed to basically full HP where you had been right now, you're not allowed to chase this kill. Imagine if you'd had full HP here. Walk, pen, hold shield, swing, but you can't. So now, because you can't, you lose the fight. You miss an opportunity to get a trade. You see it? It's not that, again, I want to emphasize, it's not about playing more defensive or more aggressive. It's about playing aggressive when you see opportunities, and then when you don't, you immediately go into defensive to preserve your HP, to preserve your resources, so you can go aggressive sooner again later when you actually have an opportunity. That's the big thing here. Okay, let's keep going here. So do we decisively commit on a position here? So we're going to clear the angle, or we're going to go to point? Force resources on Winston. We force bubble. Good. Hold shield. He's one. Pen. Now, all you need to do is hold shield or swing on Lucio. Basically, pressure anything that's close to you. Otherwise, just don't take damage. Don't reach. Don't reach. It's too far. Deal with the angles around you instead, right? So when somebody's here, your priority should be on here or here, right? So prioritize on this stuff here because it's closer to you. So you throw a fire strike, you swing, you lose so much HP. Oh my days. And see what that means is that your Ana has to pocket, the Lucio has to, or the BAP has to pocket. They are not allowed to shoot. They're not allowed to get trades. And then when you go in to go aggressive in here, you don't have the HP to do so. Sure. 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 All right, decide. Are you going to control space here? Are you going to play space on point? Are you going to angle up left here? Your choice. Let's go. Sure. Decide. Decide. Yes, yes, yes. Bad fire strike, but yes. Good. Get him out. Now hold the space here. Hold the space here. If you see an opportunity to rotate, that's fine. Good. Too much damage. Unnecessary. No! Okay, you've committed to here. You can keep these guys busy for a long time. You could swing on Mocha here, get a shatter, hold space. Don't go back. You're going to take so much damage for pinning out here, and then you're also going to give this Winston so much space to his backline. Look at the circles here. You're doing what Winston's doing, if you think about it. Now, you should be taking a lot less damage on Winston. This is too much damage for no reason, right? But look at what he's doing. He's going to do all this, and his backline will not be able to walk forward because of you, unless you do this. So this Winston lives. Look at your HP because you pinned out in the open, and then look at the backline space. You see this? Look at how much space that you gave up. Defensive nano, defensive BAP window, and what the frick can you swing on? Right? And in fact, the guy that kills a Winston is not even you, it's the Genji, right? So what I'm seeing here so far is I'm seeing basic mechanical fundamentals, but core game fundamentals, tank fundamentals is kind of what I'm saying. So you hold, you hit your fire strikes in the most part, and your pins and your swings. And yeah, you don't swing when you're 1 HP usually, right? But you don't understand space. You don't understand the opportunity cost of swinging versus holding corners and so on. So like right here, hold space. When you're close, when you're controlling, attracting attention, your job is to just keep them busy. Keep them busy. You're here. You've invested your time in controlling the space. You're fine. Stay there. Keep doing that thing. Don't go all the way back here. When you do this, you allow the Winston to survive because you allow his supports and damage to walk forward and capitalize off of this space. And honestly, even pocket him. It's a mess. Like, this is not an easy map to play in Reinhardt, but this is an even harder map if you're playing basically, I'm trying to think of the best way, like musical chairs. That's what you're playing. No musical chairs. You take your seat and you sit in it. And if you need to move to another seat, you do so decisively when you have a good reason to do so. Right here, we're holding corner. Great. Hold the corner. Hold the corner. Don't you freaking dare pin back to deal with a Genji here. Hold the corner. Until there's nobody there. Yes. Yes. Do it. I smell it. Do it. You can do it. It's fine. Not a bad pin because he was close. So, like, you're not giving up space by doing so. Hold shield here. No, you can even see your body language, right? Like, once you miss the pin, first off, you should be tracking primal here. Turn and hold shield. Turn and hold shield. Oh, it's just a little bit late, right? So you were going to need to give up space regardless, but you could have taken 300, 400, 500, let's say, damage for it. So there's a big problem with you finding downtime so that you can kind of have more uptime. I think it's a big thing for tank, right? But then there's also part of the reason why you do take so much damage. It's not just that, but also because you end up chasing tanks or chasing targets around. Good, cleared out. Yep, good stuff. Weird fire strike. Very weird fire strike. That's a good fire strike. Yes, clear him out. Clear him out. Invest, invest, invest. Reinhardt's so good at this. Yes, sure, fine. He's close. Why not deal with it? It's fine. It's fine. It's risky, but it's fine. Sure, there's nothing else there, so go for it. Everything feels good when it's in your spot. Whether it's a pin or a swing, reposition yourself is not a problem when there's a good reason for it. Good stuff. Nice job. Everything feels good when you get to be like, oh, we're fighting here? Okay, good. Ah, this is so unforgivable, I swear. Sure, swing, swing. Okay, I'm taking a lot of damage. Just shield. Shield and back out. Shield back out. Shield back out. I mean, you're... Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think you also underestimated how far back your supports were at that point in time, too. Okay. I don't like the fire strikes. I mean, they end up hitting, but yeah. Felt a little fortunate. Sure. Yeah, deal with the Lucio because he's close. I mean, this one's unfortunate. I don't think you misplayed this fight. You did the best that you could. But it's the fights before. So, big takeaways from you. I want you to focus on when I can apply pressure or see an opportunity, I swing a fire strike when I have resources. When I don't have resources, whether that's HP or whatever, and they're too far away, don't swing. Just shield or hide in the corner. Don't do anything. So that you could do something when you do have the opportunity. Second thing is whatever angle or corner that you find, you could push and rotate, and that's fine. I'm not saying stay static entirely. But don't fall backwards to peel at the expense of controlling backline or whoever else in front. You know, so every time that a tank walked into you, it felt great. But when you went all the way back to deal with the dive tank, or all the way back to deal with the tracer, or all the way back to fill the Genji, you always lost a lot of HP, and your team always died to whatever the backline filled, right? Whether that was the Cassidy or the Ashe or the Genji or whatever else. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. I know this is a really big topic. So this is like, it's not a super simple thing to execute, but it is the most important thing to tanking at this level when we talk about tanking fundamentals. I think some of the Reinhardt mechanics were obviously solid. You've been playing this character for a long time and it shows. The one thing I'd say is just sometimes you get a little sloppy or lazy with some of your fire strikes without really having a lot of scouting information. I'd like to see that better. Okay.